Happy unofficial national holiday, right? That's what the day after the Super Bowl is. Lucky Lefty podcast. ONORA boy, solo today in the building. It's going to be a fun day too, because right after this show, I'll be on the mailbag over on Irish Breakdown with my guy Brian Driscoll. Check out the RTCF show. It's a great show Saturday, man. We talked about recruiting, team aspects, returning production for Notre Dame, and how that impacts things moving forward, including the transfers, and then all of the topsy-turvy news that's been happening, including some news that happened this weekend when it comes to coaches leaving college football, going to the NFL. What is going on? Yeah, it bit Notre Dame in the butt this weekend. We'll talk about that with Chris O'Leary. We'll get into the commitment of Elijah Burress and recruiting wide receivers at Notre Dame. Recruiting wide receivers at Notre Dame. Don't forget, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, and then the thumbs up, smash it for us, man. We greatly appreciate it. And then on top of that, leave your comments because we respond to them all. Some of you guys have some of the funniest things to say after the show when watching it. We appreciate that. Then go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Lock in with us. We give you audio edibles each and every day. All right? We are the home of the misguided passion, and we will forever continue to make sure that we spin it different. So a lot of things to get to. We will also hear from transfer defensive end RJ Oben on some very interesting topics. He's a great interview. I want to say that. Impressive young man. What else would you expect coming from Duke, transferring to Notre Dame? Very impressive young man. We'll hear from him talking about Riley Leonard, the Notre Dame offensive line, Bryce Young, and some more topics from his interview this past weekend. But as always, what's smoking? What's Smoking brought to you by Fashion Geek, AlonzoJackson.com. Fashion Geek, we run the city. What smoking is, hey, you already know. Dynasty. Throw your hands in the sky. Kansas City Chiefs fans. Congratulations. 3 championships in 5 years. Impressive, man. Absolutely impressive. So what were your thoughts on the Super Bowl? I have 3 things that I just want to point out. Football continues to be an amazing thing to watch for me. It's a difficult game, man. It's just flat out a difficult game. And my prayer goes out to Dre Greenlaw, who simply tore his Achilles, in excitement and trying to run on the field. It is, yeah, man. In the Super Bowl, that stinks. And I thought Debo had one of those moments and he was able to push through. But it was an incredible game. I thought both teams played hard. They didn't play their best at certain points in the game. Evenly matched. But what stood out? What stood out? What did you guys think about the halftime show? I want to say this. Patrick Mahomes, and I didn't eat yesterday to confirm this, Patrick Mahomes is that dude. I said it multiple times and had people bring up Joe Burrow and other quarterbacks. I said months ago, no one is touching this dude. No one is touching this dude. If Patrick Mahomes switched teams yesterday, that game is a blowout. Flat out blowout. It's a blowout. If he plays for Baltimore in the AFC Championship game, Baltimore's in the Super Bowl. It's not even close. The battle was for second. The battle was between Lamar, Burrow, the rest of the crew to see who's the second best in the league. That's the true battle. That's the true battle. So I just want to point out that I I want to show love to Andy Reid. Everybody else will talk about Patrick Mahomes. I've been doing that leading up to the game. Patrick Mahomes is great, but Andy Reid, see, people forget that Andy Reid went to 4 consecutive NFC championships. Didn't get over the hump. I don't think he had the quarterback to get him over the hump. You know, some questionable. See, this is why I don't give up on Kyle Shanahan. Because Kyle Shanahan is experiencing the exact same thing that Andy Reid experienced in Philadelphia. Great play caller, but had some very questionable decisions and losses in the NFC championship game attached to his legacy. And people wondered early in his career, was he overrated? Could he get over the hump? And now the back end, he has 3 championships in 5 years. Kyle Shanahan is going through the same thing. He's a young coach. He's proven that he can take the minimal quarterbacks or quarterbacks that aren't top 5, top 3, and get quarterbacks to play well in his system. He's proven that. He's a great play caller. He's proven that. In-game manager, understanding the magnitude of the moment and what needs to be done. That's an entirely different thing. But he is, without question, a really good coach that needs time. Andy Reid got time. And hopefully, I don't think he's had, even when he was the OC in Atlanta, Matt Ryan's okay. Matt Ryan's okay. I don't think he's had a difference maker at quarterback. Eventually in his career, he'll get attached. He'll get attached to a great quarterback, and it will make him better. And he'll probably get over the hump. He'll get over the hump, right? But I want to point to something Patrick Mahomes said. Patrick Mahomes said, yo, and this shows you how dope Patrick Mahomes is, bro. They asked Patrick Mahomes, like, what about the start to your career? Like, do you feel like you're great or better than anybody else based upon the way your career started? And this dude said, man, I owe everything to this culture. This is about culture. Us winning is about culture. It's the culture that Alex Smith established before I got here, showing me how to be a leader, showing me how to lead. That right there was the most impressive thing he said post-game. That right there, the acknowledgement from one of the greatest. But see, I don't think there will ever be, the discussion will be there, but I don't think there will ever be the type of rift that existed between Belichick and Brady. Even when they were winning championships, people were trying to argue, is it Belichick? Is it Brady? Who's more important? The vibe you get from the Chiefs is that we are locked at the hip. I have Andy and Andy has me. We are locked at the hip in this thing. It just seems like even with it being a dynasty similar to the Patriots, it's a totally different vibe. It's just a totally different vibe. I don't know if you want to say it's more fun-loving. You can say it's because Andy Reid, it might not be as maniacal or narcissistic as a Bill Belichick. And Patrick Mahomes might be, I think Brady was a humble dude in the beginning. I think Brady was a humble dude. I really do. But it just seems like the combination has a different vibe around it than Andy Reid, than Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. It just does. And for him to show Alex Smith the love for who Alex Smith was a really good player with the 49ers, came over to Kansas City after they chose to go to Colin Kaepernick, and was the exact same thing for Andy Reid. It's like Alex Smith wasn't a bum. Alex Smith was getting to playoffs pretty consistently as a quarterback. He just wasn't that great quarterback. Alex Smith, I would say Alex Smith was a better quarterback under Andy Reid than Donovan McNabb was. Even though Donovan McNabb got to a Super Bowl, got to those NFC Championship games, Alex Smith was a better leader than Donovan McNabb. And it's a lot of stuff. I don't know if you guys heard. It's a lot of stuff coming out about Donovan McNabb, especially during Super Bowl lead up, about his lack of leadership. I think it was Asante Samuel that went on a podcast and was like, yo, this dude, like Andy Reid babied this dude. Like this dude was so bad in practices. And for me, coming from New England and Belichick and Tom, to see how Andy Reid allowed certain things to continue, the lack of execution, and not making Donovan repeat that, correct that in practice. He was like, I come from a place where, yo, until this is 100% in practice, we're not going to do it. And we would do things in games or ask him to do things in games that he didn't execute in practice properly at a high level. This is my point. Andy Reid had to get to that point, right? So when you talk about Shanahan and you talk about what took place with the decision to take the ball first in overtime, right? The decision maybe not to give Christian McCaffrey the ball a little bit more. The decision to let Brock Purdy throw the ball 40 times and pretty much go head up against Patrick Mahomes. He made all of these decisions, not calling timeouts at the end of the first half to see if he can get the ball back and maybe get another field goal, more points on the board to extend the lead. All questionable things. Totally understand where everybody's going in his head. He's a young head coach, ladies and gentlemen. This is not, look, when Bill Belichick got to New England, that wasn't his first shot. He had gone through mistakes. He had learned in other positions before. And just like we expect players, and this goes to Marcus Freeman, just like we expect players to have to be coached and developed, head coaches have to have time to develop, man. The NFL is hard. The NFL might be the most difficult championship to win. Outside, maybe the Stanley Cup rivals, because of the length and the grind of winning the Stanley Cup. Maybe that grind is a little bit more. Winning a Super Bowl is hard, man. It's hard. The parity in the league, the talent in the league, the level of quarterback play in the league right now. It's hard, man. And this Chiefs team reminds me of the 93 Chicago Bulls. In my opinion, that was the most, either the 93 Bulls or the 98 Bulls. Some people can have their decisions or opinions about it. That was the most vulnerable version of that dynasty. Those two teams. The New York Knicks had beat them handily in the regular season. They had home court advantage. They went out and got Charles Smith. They had Anthony Mason. They were going to bulldoze the Bulls on the boards. Horace Grant was at the end of his rope with the Bulls. And somehow, some way, the Bulls found a way to get back to the championship. And once they got to the NBA Finals, you just felt like, okay, they've been here. I'm telling you, that's the same vibe. That's why I didn't even make my prediction on Friday's show. It's like, dude, I'm not through. The Chiefs are winning this. The Chiefs are winning this unless they just flat out play a horrible game, which they did for about a quarter and a half. They played a horrible game for a quarter and a half. 49ers just didn't cut their heads off, man. It's not good enough just to knock the champion down. You got to stand over him and cut his head off, right? It wasn't good enough for David just to hit Goliath with the stone. He had to walk up to him, take the sword, and cut his head off, dude. When you're going after Goliath, and that's who Patrick Mahomes is in this era, man, you have to do what you have to do. So I just want to give kudos to Andy Reid because I think there's a lot of love going to Patrick Mahomes, and rightfully so. But yo, what Andy Reid has done, four straight, four straight NFC championship games as a head coach, even if you wet the bed, that's pretty good, bro. And then to come to Kansas City and establish what he's established. And then see, because we give coaches, we tell coaches, man, how do you lose with that quarterback? Okay. Andy Reid has the quarterback and he keeps winning. He has the quarterback and he keeps winning. Ladies and gentlemen, Brent Veach, the general manager, deserves. See, this is why the Caleb Williams thing with the Bears doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And I see Bears fans all over social media. Oh, after watching this game, we definitely have to take Caleb Williams. Where's your Hall of Fame head coach? Where's your Hall of Fame head coach? Where's your Hall of Fame defensive coordinator? Where? Where's your top 3 general manager in the league? Where's your top 3 evaluator and drafter? Where? I don't care what quarterback you bring into this situation. See, that's why Patrick Mahomes, what he said, I walked into a great culture. This is why the beginning of my career has been successful. I walked into a great culture. This is the greatest of the era, telling you I'm here today because of the culture that was set before I got here by Andy Reid, by Brett Veach, by Alex Smith. That has allowed me and my talent to reach the maximum and to attain unto 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. So Caleb Williams, into that terrible Bears culture, isn't doing a darn thing. If he's great, it's not doing a darn thing. Maybe you become a wild card team that's going home early. Maybe. The Packers aren't going anywhere. The Lions aren't going anywhere. And the last I checked, Kirk Cousins and those receivers up in Minnesota are coming back from the injuries they had. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we go into year 3 with Notre Dame, it's about culture, man. And the frustrations that some people have had with Marcus Freeman, what did you expect? What did you expect? You just thought he was going to come out and start winning national championships off the bat as a first-time head coach, no head coaching experience at Notre Dame with the limitations that he has, having to learn on the job? Like 2 of the losses last year were coaching losses. Let's just be honest. Ohio State was a coaching loss. It was a coaching loss. Some might say Louisville was a coaching loss. But you have to go through those growing pains, and you have to allow your coach to go through the growing pains. Andy Reid had to go through his growing pains. He was still a really good coach while he was going through it. Kyle Shanahan is a really good coach that's going through his growing pains. When you say, how long does that last? I don't know. I don't know. It lasted a while for Andy Reid when he was in Philly. So much that they decided to part ways amicably. Is Brock Purdy going to be that quarterback of Kyle Shanahan? I can't sit here today and say yeah. I can't. Eventually, cap space is going to be something. Because if Brock Purdy has one more season like this, they're going to have to pay him. They're going to have to pay him. And then the team around him becomes less. And we've seen that when he didn't have Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel in the lineup in the regular season, he struggled. So I don't know. I don't know if he's that difference maker quarterback. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. Right? He that dude. There's the end of the Ohio State game. Not make dude, Aldrich has to be in the game. Dude, those are coaching losses. Going forward and panicking on fourth down in your territory against Louisville when your defense was playing the way they play. That's a coaching loss, dude. That's panic. That's panic. Andy Reid had the same situation in the third quarter, offense struggling, 4th inches on like his 32-yard line. You know what Andy Reid said? Yo, my defense is balling. Punt the ball. Punt the ball. There's no panic. There's no panic because he's learned his lessons. He's been through the tough times. He has struggled. He's been through the storms. Marcus Freeman and the culture of Notre Dame is going to have to go through the storm. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to have to get to the playoffs. And even when they make it to the playoff, their culture has to be tested. We just watched Michigan get tested. In 3 years, they got smacked by Georgia. Jim Harbaugh said, run it back. We're not changing a thing. This is our culture. Run it back. They come back. They get upset by TCU. Why? Because they got too cute. Trick plays, let J.J. McCarthy throw the ball, didn't stick to who they were. Jim Harbaugh didn't change anything. He said, this tested our culture. We have to get better at what we do. We have to believe in what we do. Bam. That is what we want Notre Dame to be. And as a fan base, we have to be willing. I'm going to say this again. Winning is hard, man. Winning in football is hard, especially when you go from one level to the next. Winning in college is hard, and winning in the NFL landscape is even more difficult. But what stood out to me is I gained a lot more, no, I wouldn't say empathy. I gained a lot more openness to Notre Dame and what success might be for the culture that Marcus Freeman is trying to establish in 2024. That's the best way I can say it. Because I know we had the poll question a week ago. What's success in 24? What would be the floor for success in 2024 when it comes to Notre Dame football? And most of you guys said, yo, we have to reach the semifinals. We have to reach the semifinals. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. That's fair based upon the quarterbacks. And it's not just about Riley Leonard. Like, dude, you feel comfortable with your backups. I feel comfortable if Steve Angeli comes in, if Riley Leonard gets hurt. I feel comfortable if Kenny Minchie has to come in. Like, at this point, Notre Dame has one of the best quarterback rooms in the nation from a depth standpoint. They do. That's no longer an issue. They got talent, young talent, running back, young talent, offensive line. They go out and get production in wide receiver room. They got a great wide receiver class coming in my opinion, with Gilbert, Sadate, Cam Williams. The tight ends are always doing good things in Notre Dame. Mitchell Evans comes back. You have all this talent. And we, dude, ad nauseum talked about the 24 schedule. Ad nauseum. Man, we have to understand that this, especially at Notre Dame, winning a title at Notre Dame is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. And just like the players who we watch sit, develop, and finally get a chance, Marcus Freeman is sitting. Well, he doesn't have an opportunity to sit, but he's developing as a leader, as a head coach. Talked to Deuce Knight. Deuce Knight said, yo, he's honest with me. He says, yo, I can't tell you how to throw the ball. I can't tell you a lot offensively. But what I can do for you is keep your head on, keep you locked in, and make sure, hey, you're doing the right thing. He's learning how to be a head coach. He's going to learn. Mike Denbrock is going to help him learn more about the offensive side of the ball. It just is what it is. And we have to allow him to be able to do that. Lucky Lefty podcast. RJ Open coming up on the other side. News about Chris O'Leary leaving Notre Dame for the NFL, along with the commitment of Elijah Burress coming up shortly. ONORA boys are in the building. What's up, Left? I can't, man, your microphone is, we're getting static. We'll bring Left back in. Hey, that haircut is fresh, by the way. I just want to say that whoever blended the blend between the beard and the face, whoever, yeah, dog, yeah, bro. I'm talking to him backstage, guys. Yeah, that blend is dope. Whoever hooked you up, they did their thing. He'll be back in a second. Lucky Lefty podcast. So yeah, it did sound like Swarm of the Bees or an invasion. Hey, Anthony Solomon, that's a good point. It really is. At this point, 15, 16 wins is challenging for everyone involved. It's like a whole new challenge right now. It really is. It really is. RJ Gibbon, thank you for RJG Urban, thank you for jumping in. Is Marcus Freeman too aggressive as a young head coach? I see aggression to me can be in different forms. Aggression for me is in different forms, and I don't know, man. I think constantly going for it on fourth down to prove you're aggressive, but you're running the ball 57% of the time, that's not aggression to me. That's not.
It's not. Because you gotta be in the 70, 80 range if we talking aggressive. That's that's aggressive.
Yeah. So just going for it on a fourth down and just running the ball into the middle of the line, that's not aggressive. It can come across like being aggressive, but you're playing
the probability at that point. That's not an aggressive because you're playing the numbers now.
Exactly.
They playing because they got a sheet that's like, okay, at this point in the clock, we're going to do these things in this situation with this score kind of thing. So all of that probability stuff, it sounds good before you go into the game because of analytics, right? But in reality, it's a momentum, it's a feel. And I think that's where you find most success when being aggressive is when you already got the momentum, like you're coming off a turnover, you working the ball down the field after a big play. So that's where it comes in at. And Super Bowl hangover. I mean, what a great game. Pat Mahomes looked a little normal in the beginning, which for a second, I'm like, is Brock Purdy outplaying him? But then, I forgot, Pat Mahomes can turn that switch and make it all better.
So what stood out to you? I gave 2 points. My first point was, look, I'm not about to spend 10 minutes talking about Patrick Mahomes. I told y'all 2 months ago, ain't nobody close to him in the league. I've been saying that. I've been saying it. Y'all just, because the question, he has to win on the road. Check. He has to beat Lamar. Check. He has to beat Josh on the road. Check.
Triple check. Triple, quadruple check.
Can he win a Super Bowl when he doesn't have? Check. The man didn't have 1,000-yard receiver. The man didn't have 1,000-yard rusher. The man had the worst wide receiving core in the league with the most drops, and they had the most penalties. Everything you say you can't do if you want to win championships, he had it, and he won a championship. Literally. It's crazy.
The only thing they got to say now is he got to win one left-handed. I mean, because all the other metrics, he's so far ahead of all the competitors that you can't even grade him on the same scale. He got 3 Super Bowls in 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, 3 in his first 6.
And it's going to take 10 years for any quarterback starting today that's in the league today. It'll take 10 years for them to catch up. 10 years. And most of these guys that we're talking about are already 8, 9 in the league right now. So this is really, I mean, you're talking about an anomaly mixed with something we've never seen before. And to get that on a stage where Pat Mahomes my age, he got 3 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs, kicking butt, and it just sucks for everybody else in the league because he's only going to get better the longer he stays healthy. And how are you going to catch up to that? And he can only get better. 6 or 7 years in the league. Hell, Aaron Rodgers didn't even win a ring at that point. And we know how we feel about him.
Yeah.
So if Pat Mahomes retired today, he'd be the greatest chief ever.
That's already. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's rap. Hey, him and Kelsey might be top 2.
Yes.
Him and Kelsey might be top 2 ever. And Chris Jones 3.
Yeah.
Facts. Facts.
So when you have something like that, you just got to be able to look at these moments and appreciate them, because this is even greater than accomplishments that LeBron would have in comparison to accomplishments. LeBron, that's like LeBron winning the NBA championship his first 3 years. He's year 21 and only got 5. Pat Mahomes is only in even double digits yet and got 3. I think what changes Pat Mahomes' career is him losing his coach, Andy Reid, and maybe losing Kelsey. Other than that, that brother can play like this for the whole career with Andy Reid.
Left, it's something else. I don't know. I'm gonna tell you because you weren't on. Let me tell you the most impressive thing Patrick Mahomes said at his press conference. They asked him about his start to his career. He said, "I'm not here if it wasn't for the culture that was here before I got here."
That's right. Chief culture was strong.
He said, if Alex Smith didn't show me how to be a leader, I wouldn't be here. If Andy Reid hadn't set the culture, if the guys, if Tyreek Hill, if Travis Kelce, if everybody else wasn't drafted in here when I got here, I'm not standing here with 3 Super Bowls and 3 MVPs. Now, this is the dude that is the greatest of the era, unquestionably. Letting you know it's bigger than me. This ain't just about me being dropped into here. This culture. And I'll expand it. Because I spent the first 20 minutes talking about Andy Reid, how you have to be fair to Kyle Shanahan. Because a lot of people want to jump on him. The same things are being said about Andy Reid in Philly. The exact same things. You have to give coaches a chance to
get a generational quarterback.
But then Andy Reid has learned. He's learned how to manage games. And that's why when they get to the fourth quarter, they take off.
Oh,
they're like plus 30 in the Super Bowl in fourth quarters, bro. Plus 30.
That's crazy.
What they did to San Francisco, the first time they did it in 5 minutes, 21 points in 5 minutes. He has learned from his losses. He went to 4 consecutive NFC championships, bro.
Yeah.
He's learned from that. And yes, when you get a great quarterback, it helps you get over the hump. But he saved that play for that exact moment.
Oh,
he saved corn dog. Now we're gonna use it right now. This is the perfect moment. He saved the middle screen to Kelsey for the perfect moment.
Yeah.
Hadn't run it all day. That is, bro, that is coaching. That is understanding moments. That is knowing when to. Kyle Shanahan pulled all his trick stuff out in the first half, bro.
Early with the double pass and ran out of gas, bro. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be rough for them if he's pulling out double passes for touchdowns in the first half. Oh yeah, because I know you don't. Because to you even call it, that means you had to have been practicing it for a long time. To pull it out early means you got desperate fast. Because that's not a play that you pull out in the first half like that for what? To score? You need that to score? Yeah, it's gonna be rough for you.
Absolutely.
I did think though that Brock managed the
played really good.
Pressure well.
Yes.
I mean, he was calm in the pocket, even when they was condensing space. He was moving, and I mean, obviously he has all-star talent around him, but the confidence he's playing with under Kyle Shanahan, I don't know if he can do this outside the 49ers, but in the 49ers, I mean, he's a top 10 guy. The way he's just, I mean, it's a great story to tell.
Great story. And to extend that, ladies and gentlemen, think about this. We talk about how great the Kansas City Chiefs defense has been this year, which they were absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Check this stat out, Left. In the history of the NFL in the Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs have the 2 youngest Super Bowl winning defenses in the history of the NFL. Last year and this year. The 2 youngest. The 2 youngest. Steve Spag, I told you Steve Spagnuolo was that dude. Left, I told you. That dude, pay him, extend him. He's a dude. If you want 3 in a row, give Chris Jones his money.
Yeah, he got it. Yeah, Chris Jones got to get his money because he wasn't letting that run game do nothing.
Left. This is why culture is so important. And we said this 2 weeks ago. How is it they get every one of their big players to show up in big games? How?
That's coaching.
Chris Jones shows up every big game. Pat shows up every big game. Trash.
It's like the star's gonna come out. It ain't gonna be no. Well, technically, Travis Kelce was mad first half because he only had
he was about 2 straight
choke
Andy Reid. Like, give me the ball.
Yeah, no, he was serious. Side note, I feel really bad for Greenlaw. Man, that's got to be one of the most saddest moments in sports history.
I didn't know what had happened until they came back from commercial.
When they came back from commercial, they brought it up. It just looked so sad because it's nothing you can do.
No,
you pop your Achilles right there.
It immediately.
I mean, and man, I just feel so. One of the worst moments you can have in your sports career, you pop your Achilles just on the field, just walking on the field. Devastated. So I do think that impacted them in a lot of ways because San Francisco's defense looked great first half. But it's so funny to talk about a defense against Pat Mahomes looking great because at any moment, all that first half stuff, out the window. Who cares?
Out the window.
Second half is a whole new game. And you're like, oh, we got another half of doing this. So, yeah, once you get in a position like that with Pat Mahomes, it only takes got to take other stars to beat him.
Yeah. I think someone said Chris Jones literally was the reason Brock Purdy didn't complete 3 touchdowns yesterday. On 3 separate plays. He was literally the reason that San Francisco did score touchdowns. Bro. Dude,
think about all that stuff in the beginning of the season where he wants his money. He's sitting up in the press box while they losing games. And he got 3 plays that stop touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Yeah, you got to pay him. He told you back then he's the team on defense. And y'all tried to play with the man money. He's like, no, you're going to pay me. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do when he does.
And you know what's scary? These dudes on the post-game podium like, oh, we'll be back next year. We're going for I'm like.
They didn't say to Dan Campbell, we may never be here again?
No. I'm glad you mentioned that. That cat Pat was like, oh, we ain't done. Like, yes, it's a dynasty and we ain't done. I said, okay.
They not. No. With a young defense, you had the worst receiver core you could have had. So, I mean, I'm doubting it's going to be like that next year.
Somebody put out a funny tweet. Kadarius Toney has more rings than Aaron Rodgers. I said that's funny.
Well, does he get a ring? He wasn't even active.
Yeah, he's still on the roster though.
Man, I wonder why he was there in Vegas though.
Yeah, but Richie James was returning punts, right? And who else? I mean, they didn't need him in the wide receiver core.
Man,
or they didn't trust him.
They didn't need him. They didn't need him. And Kadarius Toney's a great player. You know, that I think most teams will say, okay, I'll put it like this. 90% of the league, if they was in Kansas City's position, wouldn't have benched Kadarius Toney.
No.
Just not, that's just not, you're like, that's a playmaker. I'm not about to inactivate him.
That's a culture decision, right? No, that's a guy that caught a touchdown and returned a punt that helped us win the Super Bowl last year.
Not even that long ago. It was last year he was the impact player damn near of the game. But when you got Pat Mahomes, you can do some freaky stuff like that. I mean, he's the biggest makeup cover ever. We used to think Tom Brady used to take the mailman and the garbage man and your favorite third grade teacher and put him out on the field and win games. It's like it doesn't even matter who you put. Well, see, that's the thing. As long as he got Kelsey as his safety blanket, I think he'll always be good. Now, losing Kelsey is different than losing Tyreek.
Yeah, but see, losing Kelsey or Kelsey declining, see, they might be at the point where they can say, Trav, we don't need you as much in the regular season.
Like that. Yeah, like Gronk.
We just need Trav to show up. We just need Trav to show up in the postseason.
That's it.
Because we can let Rashid carry the regular season as he gets better.
Because the other tight end's not bad. He's pretty solid.
Yeah, great. Noah Gray's pretty solid. So it's not only winning left. Now they know the path and what they need to do just to get to we just need to make sure we're healthy and get to the playoffs. Because if we do that,
it's so funny. Who's beating them in one game elimination? When you got Trav, you could put Trav on ice because you know you making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So let's NBA load management. Trav Kelsey. Oh, you good? We rotate you, get you 50% of the snaps in the regular season. Save your body, come out there playoffs, and it's one game, and you got a week or two between these games. It's like the playoffs are dangerous, and that's why superstars matter in these moments like this. NBA is about a superstar league.
Oh, absolutely. One person can literally change everything. Everything. You know what I'm saying? Everything. Jason Hewlett says this, love, and this just points out culture again. It's like KC needs a tight end and a running back.
I guess.
KC has the liberty to go draft whoever they want, dude. Whatever.
That thing is open. Look, that thing is open.
Look, I didn't know. I went and looked. Because I'm looking, I'm like, yo, this cat George Karlaftis is balling in the playoffs.
Oh, he's nice. The defense end, right?
Yeah. And when they took him in the first round out of Purdue, I'm like,
nobody really gave him. Yeah. No.
Culture, evaluation, development, bro. Like, yo, now they got this dude getting better.
The bottom of the first round, chilling. All these teams
every year.
Like, oh my God, we got to trade up, get a guy. We need to beat this guy before their team takes him. And they're like, we're at 32 every year, chilling. And whoever we get is just, you'll just be like, man, that was a great pickup. What was like, they were just sitting there waiting on him. I mean,
Sky Moore hasn't done anything all year. Big catch yesterday. Hasn't done anything
all year. And it's just like, man.
This is something
culture that strong.
Talk about this, love quarterbacking, because we can finally say this. I don't know if it is something that's been said, but I have to give it to Brady. The 49ers got Brady yesterday. You just felt it coming.
Oh,
same thing you would feel with Tom Brady. Like,
as much as you was up, It just wasn't up enough.
It's
You
not
know it was
enough.
coming.
Kyle
And you
Shanahan
start
gave
seeing
up a
things,
25-point lead to this dude in the Super Bowl.
and
It
it wasn't enough. Too
wasn't
much time.
enough. They
That's
got
why as
Brady.
soon as I start seeing them when they had turnovers and they was kicking
Mhm.
field goals, I said, you're not going to beat them. It's not enough field goals in the world that can beat a man that can score in 13 seconds. You didn't see, you didn't
Left.
watch tape on this man. Just
First of all, people, do you understand that we have the playoff overtime rules because of Patrick Mahomes
yes,
and what he
because they
did in
wanted to make it
13
fair for
seconds?
Josh. They wanted
Yes,
to make it fair for Josh
yes,
because of Pat.
yes, because of
And Pat
Pat.
still beat them.
All the coaches and GMs went to the meetings and said, "Hey, man,
We're
we
gonna
got
have
to
to get a
even the
chance.
playing field."
Yeah, we got to get a chance because if he gets it first, we lose. It ain't even no. It's not, what's the point of overtime if he get the ball first?
Speaking of that, what did you think about the decision for Kyle Shanahan to take the ball first in overtime?
Man, I think that when you're in a situation like that, you just want it in your possession. You want to have control of your own fate. And I think he felt like he didn't want to get Brady, so he's like, let me be the aggressor. Because if he went on defense first, you just know. It's like, man, it's only a matter of time because all it takes is a third and short to get a big play, like the one in the first half where he threw it about 68 yards in the air so far to the point where the safety didn't even, he's the safety, I thought it was going to be a pick until the safety's like, man, it's hanging in the air so long. Where is it at? it was it was in a long air. You just see the replay of him running with it. He loses it. And next thing you know, it just like, that's why I'm like, this is fake. This is fake. I have never seen a safety just lose the guy and just, I mean, magic. And it was a dime too,
Mm-hmm.
across the field, dime. I said,
That
oh
throw
yeah,
was
there.
amazing. That throw
I
was
said they came
amazing.
to play. I know, I like that. Oh, they came to play. Oh, this is so. It's like you can't even look at the score in the first quarter and think this is gonna be the fourth quarter score. It's like, damn, you done gassed out in the first half. They played great. San Francisco
Yeah,
played great in the first half and ran out of gas second half.
yeah.
Especially after that trick play. I said, y'all pulling trick plays out in the first half.
They
Uh-oh.
pulled multiple trick plays out,
Uh-oh.
all types of double motions, and I'm like, okay.
See, y'all
And you
working too
only put
hard.
up 10 points. You only put up 10 points,
All that stuff looks foolish.
Now
and
Andy
then.
Reid pull it out, it looks good,
Mhm.
But
No, you're right,
So
love.
I, so yeah, man, it's one of those things where it sucks, man. It sucks when you got to play Pat Mahomes for one game elimination because you just know you have to play perfect because he does it and he can still beat you.
Left.
Kyle Shanahan's probably kicking him. He's like, man, why am I stuck in the air with Pat Mahomes? Why am I stuck in the air with him?
The face, dude. Go, please, ladies and gentlemen. Go look at Pat's face at the coin toss. Warner calls tails, or what he called, whatever he called. They won. He said, "We want the ball." Pat's eyes got this. Go look at it. They show Pat's face was like Pat's face. So he like looked at him like, "What? You gonna give me the ball last?" Like, okay, all right. It was, dude. But this is the pressure. This is the pressure. No, Kyle Shanahan said it. He said, dude, we weren't winning the game unless we scored 30. He
That's
said,
it.
that's why I was so aggressive. I knew I wasn't beating that dude if I couldn't put up 30 points.
And
That's
this is
why I was
before you get
aggressive.
on the field. He's
Yeah.
like, he's not evaluating this during the game. He's
No,
like, no,
no.
I have to go in to this game scoring over 30. That's it. Or it's just,
Mm-hmm.
it's over. It's over. And I knew when he was at halftime, he saw 10, he said, this ain't going to happen. No way. We're going to make up 20 points in one half? Come on, bro. We worked our ass off, double plays and all, to get 10 points. So, yeah, it's one of those things, man. You're playing against a monster in the era. And it's so funny because
Yeah.
everybody knows he's the best player, but everybody thought the 49ers was the better team. So,
You know, amazingly, somebody, I thought it before the game, somebody went position by position to see who had the advantage. They gave, I think it was 6.5 to 4.5 in favor of the Chiefs. When you went not just total talent, just positions.
wow.
They
Okay.
said, look at defensive backs, they gave it to the Chiefs. Tight ends, they gave it. No, the tight ends was a push.
Right.
I don't know.
Because George Kittle's like,
Yeah, but I still would take Trav. I would take
Yeah.
Trav, but that was a push. They gave him the quarterbacks.
But Trav's got that perception like a Draymond Green. Like, you're really good because all we know you is with Steph.
Mm-hmm.
Is Trav standalone out without Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce? Is he dating Taylor
No,
Swift?
Trav was getting busy with Alex Smith, though. It wasn't like
Not
Trav
like,
was
not
just
like Mahomes.
no. Playing with Pat is a different level. What I'm saying is Trav was pretty good with Alex Smith.
But it goes back to heat culture. Hell, Alex Smith was pretty good with chief
With
culture.
Trav, right.
With Andy Reid, shit.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what we're trying to say is that allow this Notre Dame culture. It might take another year, maybe 2, for it to get to where it needs to get to. But
you know how it stays though?
That's the most important thing. The quarterback position. Yeah.
Andy Reid, like you said, has been to 4 straight NFC championships. All of these without Pat.
Mm-hmm.
And just that one player makes the difference. We look at Andy Reid like he's the GOAT now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he can't do no wrong as a coach. I mean, he's just, his play calls are just amazing. And Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid, and then you take Eric Bieniemy out, they still got him because you got Pat Mahomes pushing the buttons.
Matt Nagy is a trash play caller.
Trash.
All Bears fans would tell you he's trash. Doesn't matter.
Trash. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Any coach gonna look good with Pat Mahomes.
Lucky Lefty podcast. So I see people in the chat. Kyle Shanahan and the coaching staff knew the overtime rules. They said they discussed it during the week leading up to the game, and they made the decision that they wanted the ball first so they could have it third. Because he anticipated at that point it would be difficult to stop Mahomes. If we score and they score, then it's sudden death. And the first team that scores wins. He said, I wanted the ball first so I could have it third. That was the logic behind that. He was very aware. He and his coaches were very aware of the overtime rules. The players were not aware of the overtime rules, which goes to another thing Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Chris Jones said in postgame. Andy Reid, in the preseason and multiple times during the regular season, had meetings specifically to explain this is what the postseason overtime rules were. And Patrick Mahomes said he would be in there like, why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about this? Why are we meeting 30 minutes to talk about the overtime rules in the playoffs? And he said, that's the genius. He said, that's the attention to detail in this organization. We knew we expect to be there. And if we get there, this is a possibility. And he said, if we didn't make it, he said if they had scored a touchdown, we had already decided we were going for 2. Wait a minute.
When it gets
to already decide that you're going for 2.
Lucky Lefty 9! Exclamation point.
But to say you're already, dude. If San Francisco scored a touchdown, the Chiefs had already practiced their 2-point play for that situation. Because they fully expected we're going to go down here and score, and we're going for 2. We're not allowing them to get the ball, right? Because that's what Kyle Shanahan was playing to, getting the ball. The Chiefs are like, we're not allowing you to get the ball.
No,
we're winning it right
that's
here.
That's what they did versus Lamar.
Yeah.
They didn't really do anything necessarily bad. Lamar didn't. Mm-hmm. It was just the fact that you couldn't get on the field because Pat was just hogging the field. It was effectively. You know, he was effectively, when you're 10 for 10 in the first quarter, it's just going to be a long day for you, Lamar. And then, Lord behold, you make a bad decision, right? you throw a ball down the middle late, the game's over. That's why he was getting so frustrated. And it's so funny to talk about Pat Mahomes' face at the coin toss because it goes back to his the only person that can be arrogant like this, because he's like, dude, do you realize that I have a house right outside the stadium a year before the Super Bowl, and you gonna let me get it last? Come on, man, I've been prepared for this. He said there's a Super Bowl party at my house after this game. After this game, you know, we're gonna have an after party. You want to come by? And you giving me the ball late?
Wait, left. He told, wait a minute. Patrick Mahomes told the entire team, when we win, I'm paying for everything in Vegas. This dude he's disrespectful, left. He's
It's not though.
disrespectful.
It's legendary. It's legendary shit talking, because nobody can say that. Come on now. Who have you ever heard before the game say, when we win, it's all on me. It's on the Patrick Mahomes house. Well, one, you got $500 million, so you can play with a little bit of things. You can play with some stuff.
By the way,
nobody's been that paid.
$500 million is a bargain.
Oh,
In today's NFL, $500 million for that dude, that's a bargain.
I don't think the league can afford him, to be honest with you. Not if you want a roster. So you just lucky that Pat Mahomes isn't like LeBron, who's saying I'm playing for 50 a year. I don't care what it is. Pat, I don't know how they convince Pat to be like the Tom Brady method, because Pat can go in there right now and say, listen, I'm going to need a blank check, and I'm going to just start writing zeros until my hand hurt. And you're going to cash it. I'm going to just say 1 0 0 0 0. I'm going to just keep going. I'm going to keep going. Because at the end of the day, what's Pat Mahomes' real value right now? What's his real value? It's not $500 million anymore, because he had that before.
To the league. To the Chiefs or to the league?
Chiefs can't afford him, so we already know that. But the league can't afford him. He has more value than when he got the $500 million contract. He won 2 more Super Bowls after he signed the dotted line for $500 million. After he done bought the Kansas City baseball team. And then he was like, okay, I'll sprinkle 2 more. Now what are you gonna pay him? You talk about Dak getting 40, and that's a struggle.
No, Dak is supposed to get
40
60.
entry level. Oh yeah. I don't think it's so
Look,
funny. They're not gonna do
Jerry Jones is like, they getting this dude at that price, and you want me to give you 60?
But they got Pat tied up for, it's really a bad deal.
No. But see, this is the beautiful thing. His cap hit, this was the biggest cap hit in his contract, the way they structured it the last 2 years. Now the cap hit starts to lessen, which means they have more money to go get players. That's the ridiculous part.
And they're drafting guys. That's what's so, they're not picking up like the Rams getting every veteran dude you ever heard of that is old, that can put together 1 year. He's winning with rookies. Is Sidney Rice a real Super Bowl receiver?
Rashee Rice?
Rashee? Hey. He's a good player, but with Patrick Mahomes?
Oh, he's a dog.
He had a career. He's a dog. Yeah, he looks. It's like, man, the Chiefs just draft everybody on a good level then. Or Pat Mahomes raises the level of everybody to where the big players shine. Like the big players shine all the time.
Richie James started with the Giants. McCole Hardman was on the Jets to start the season, bro. He caught the game-winning touchdown. Yeah. And he caught that long pass in the first half.
That's what I'm saying. He got off the plane from New York to play with Pat again, and Pat turning him up. That's what is the value of Pat Mahomes if he really, really wanted to break the bank? And it's funny because he almost can't break the bank because it will put too much of a gap between him and every other quarterback or player in the league, so that the league's like, look, you got to please work with us, man. You talk about market rising. If Pat Mahomes went in there and start demanding stuff, the market would be so crazy, you'll be paying Baker Mayfield $100 million by the end of the year. pack and go get $100 million a year. Not $100 million total, a year. So he got the hometown discount. I think that's how they convinced them that they can draft better. But did they? Did they? How you criticize this guy?
So we went through all of that to let people know, like, we understand what you want to see in year 3 from Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame. This is going to be a difficult task, man. Somebody pointed out, this expanded playoff, somebody's going to have to win 16 games, bro. 15, 16 wins. That's crazy.
Harder challenge any coach has ever been through, just like organizationally. Lou Holtz never had to go win 16 games and win it. Brian Kelly never had to go 16 games and win it. So this what puts Marcus Freeman in a different conversation. Not that he can't be, I mean, it's just different because of what he had to go through. That's when you have to evaluate, okay, he's the best in this different set of standards. So yeah, Brian Kelly he maxed out the coaching career for the last system. That's why he probably got tired of Notre Dame, to be honest, because he's like, man, I've maxed out my job here. 10 years, a bunch of wins, nothing to really stand on. I'm not going forward, and I'm damn near not going backwards. I'm just 10 wins. I have maxed out this. I have broke the system. Now the system updated itself, and it's refreshing. Okay, go win 6 more games. That's a harder challenge. 6 more games of teams that you don't know who you're going to play. It may be all across the country, right? Crazy. Think on mute.
Lucky Lefty podcast. When we come back, we'll get into what RJ Oben had to say. Some pretty interesting stuff about Riley Leonard and Bryce Young and how impressed he is. I told you, a lot of these veterans saying they're impressed by this freshman group, especially the early enrollees. And then I'm going to ask you, I'm putting Usher on the petty train. I am.
I thought it was a great show.
Oh, no.
Oh, Dr. Alicia Keys thing.
I'm definitely putting them on the petty train. But see, I'm only doing it because of the aesthetics, but I almost didn't do it because I'm like, you know who Usher is. Like,
Usher has been in this situation before.
He's been doing this in Vegas, in his Vegas shows all year, bro.
Every time. You thought he was going to stop because it's the Super Bowl? No, dude, no.
I'm like, yo, Usher even brought the pole to the Super Bowl. I thought I'd never see that.
Thought I'd never see it.
And
it's funny because when he did it, he was laughing because he's like, I did it again. I did it and got away with it again. I can't stop me. But great show, though. I mean, I thought it was one of the better shows Super Bowls had in shoot.
Let's get
I
to
thought
it.
it was better than Beyonce's.
We'll talk about it on the other side. Lucky Lefty podcast. We spin it. There is no other quarterback in the class better, Left. That's just flat out. There is no other quarterback in the class better. 2025 Notre Dame quarterback commit Deuce Knight joins us right here on the Lucky Lefty podcast, Reverse Spin.
I want to be a surgical guy, but who don't love big plays though? Like that's what we want to do. Like we want to score like really from afar. Like wherever we get it, we can score from. So I feel like it's kind of whatever I need to be that night, I can be.
Top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Top 5, Mahomes, Lamar. I want to say Josh Allen, but he threw a lot of picks, but you still
you don't have to say that at all. You know, I think that was the correct evaluation.
Just so you know, he is a Josh Allen hater, dude.
Man,
for some reason, he just hates on Josh Allen.
But you can't deny.
I gotta be. Deuce said the right thing. He said, he do a lot of things. He's right. A lot of crazy things.
Lucky Lefty Podcast, patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. Exclusive interview. Part 1 dropped Saturday. Appreciate you guys that have tapped in, become members of the Patreon Lucky Lefty Network. I had a meeting with our guy Oscar McBride this weekend. They've locked in, they've committed. They'll be releasing their show, if not this week, the following week. Cam McDaniels is locked in, the OGs. So, we got all-star type content coming. You need to go to Lucky Lefty Network patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. I'll put the link in the chat. I'll put the link to the Deuce Night interview. You have to be a member. Hey, it's just $10 a month. It's just $10 a month. And every week you're going to get 4 shows. You're going to get 4 shows every week.
We're giving you the lucky Netflix. I know you spend $19 on Netflix. You don't need $19 for Netflix. Come to the Lucky Lefty Netflix. Get your content as much as you need.
Yes. So we dropped the audio on Friday. The video of part 1 drops on Wednesday for members. All right. We dropped the audio on Saturday. At 9 a.m. The video drops Wednesday at 9 a.m. exclusively patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. All right. Go support, man. Like, we're building a great network, great content. I talked to our guy Ken Gibbs this morning. We're doing a show. We have the reverse spin with our interviews. We're cooking. We're cooking.
We ain't talking about bacon. We cooking that good stuff.
Absolutely. So let's get into it, Lefty. 8 to 10. What do you give the Usher?
I just appreciated that it wasn't no slow part to it. It was just banger after banger. He done changed clothes about 15 times. I didn't know how he did it. The Alicia Keys thing threw me off only because I'm like, well, I didn't understand where she came in because I didn't know they had songs together. So I was like, okay, that's a good one to throw in there. But other than that, I just thought it was good from beginning to end. Usher, it was Usher.
Mm-hmm.
Most people said they didn't watch the Super Bowl. They was watching the Usher concert. So I'm going to give it a nice 9.5.
My wife had no clue what was going on until Usher jumped up. None. She didn't care.
And then I heard you was a good old game going on. You like, man, just get to the Usher part.
Dude, she was at the kitchen table, and as soon as Usher jumped up,
hey, did you sing along? That's how you got to know it's a 9 or a 10 because you was singing along the whole time.
I definitely sang because my nickname, I always call her Boo.
Oh, yeah.
So when my Boo came on, I was definitely singing to her.
He played the songs too. He played all of them. I was like, okay, this is a real concert.
Hey, bro, the man did choreography on some roller skates, bro. Okay?
Yeah, that was fly.
Okay?
That was fly. That was fly. He came out like it was roll bouncing. I didn't know it was cool to see him skate. Then they did a whole set. And they slid to the right, slid to the left. I said, oh yeah, this is Vegas worthy. This is Vegas worthy.
Yo, we'd like to have Alicia, to have her. His joint with her.
Her came out with the guitar. I didn't know she could play guitar that good.
And then when he went into My Way, I was like, oh, the man got hits.
Man got his catalog can last him a long time. He don't need to make no new music for real, honestly.
And bro, you knew once you saw Luda and man.
I wanted, yeah.
He had little John D turned down for what? You knew that was gonna get you,
old, bro.
Man.
These songs don't get old.
Yeah, it was wonderfully. It was crafted musically. It was crafted and curated.
Perfect.
Man, the transitions.
Oh man, the transitions heavy, man.
Like I saw certain people talking about it was a snooze fest, and I'm like,
yeah, right. Even the lyrics he was chopping, it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't go. When the song switched, he jumped to like verse 2 on some of it, and it made sense. It was like, okay, because I had to catch up. I was starting from the beginning. He jumping over, but it was clean. All of it was clean. So out of 10, I'll give it a 9.5. Probably the best one in the last 20 years.
I think it was better than the joint in California. It was better than Dre.
Oh yeah, they just had a bunch of
Yeah.
old.
In my opinion, yeah. I don't know if
Jay-Z
it
did
was
a good
dude.
job, bro.
I told the missus, I said, look, what Usher just did was fantastic. I said, but I need you to understand that in 2006, this cat Prince was singing Purple Rain, and the rain started falling.
Oh, like it wasn't raining, and then he started singing,
No,
then it was raining.
he was doing the show. He started singing Purple Rain, and it started raining in the stadium. Literally.
Wait, in the stadium.
Go watch the show. It was and left
So booty.
his lighting when he's singing Purple Rain. The lighting on stage, of course, is purple.
Right.
So the raindrops looked purple when they started falling. It was the crazy dude. It was the craziest thing ever, bro.
Now I gotta go watch it because that sounds pretty crazy.
Oh, watch it. It was watch it. And most
'Cause that's
Chicago people
special
don't like that
effects.
because that was the Bears Super Bowl. That was like the Bears losing to the Colts.
That's what.
But it was epic. It was literally like,
Wow.
yo, this is crazy. Like, did this man just call the rains down from the heavens?
Called the rains down. Ain't no way he just get it timed up like that unless he had the power. He said, "Bring it down."
Man, Lucky
Yeah.
podcast. Go ahead, bro.
Usher ain't doing that, but Usher can. Man, he's a great performer.
He is.
I think it's less about the music talent. I think for Super Bowl halftimes, you got to be entertaining. Like I like it if you brought Bruno Mars will dance his ass off. Now
I
I
like
don't know
the
if he can
Bruno
sing.
show. I like what Bruno did.
He gonna sweat it here now. He gonna
Yeah.
get all the. But
So what you
yeah, I don't
think
know how he
next
gonna
year?
follow that up.
What
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh,
It's got to be Wayne, right? In New Orleans, it has to be Wayne.
if they gonna do it right, it has to be Wayne.
And then
But
Wayne
how
has to
do
bring
they
out
do it
Drake. Because if it's Wayne, it's Drake, it's Nicki. You already know. If it's Wayne,
You think
it's
Drake? I don't think Drake will perform Super Bowl halftime.
Man, he absolutely would do
I
it.
don't see Drake.
So you don't think if Wayne asked him to do the show, he would do it?
Drake on Super Bowl? I just think that's not in his wheelhouse. He's like, oh, I'm better
Well,
than that.
put it like this. Nicki would do it.
Oh yeah, she needs it though.
I don't
She
think
would-
Jay. I don't think Jay would do it.
Jay-Z, no.
He would bring out the hot boys. Man, all he
Oh,
got to do, man.
100%.
If they do
In New
well,
Orleans, that's easy. That's easy. Bring out the
I
hot.
don't know. I don't know if he could do back that thing. I don't know if they could do that in the Super Bowl. Maybe they
Man,
could.
they had Usher had the stripper poles.
Hey,
in the
wait a
Super
minute.
Bowl.
I'm upset too, bro. I'm upset because I don't see any backlash. Look, reverse gender discrimination. I'm speaking it out.
Reverse gender discrimination.
Yes, because it was a big deal. This cat went shirtless, and I don't hear any backlash. No.
Oh, he did take his shirt off. He did.
And Janet showed a nipple, and Cass
Yeah.
was acting crazy. I'm just saying.
Well, that was in the time when we still cared about censorship and things being
I'm
politically
just
correct.
saying. And it
Now,
wasn't even her show. It was Justin. No,
it was Justin's fault, and it was his
it was
show.
Justin's fault. No, it was her show, Justin's fault. I'm just saying. That's
I
not fair.
remember that. That was a huge thing.
This dude had his whole chest out, the entire chest out.
And he only did it when the camera got close, which was hilarious. Like,
And he was body rolling with the chest out. Wasn't like he just had his chest out. He was body rolling and everything. Left, being suggestive, all of that.
all of that. You said you didn't see no headlines about that, huh?
You show one thing with a pasty. Wasn't even the full nipple. It was a pasty on it. And everybody went up in arms.
Yeah.
I'm calling it out. Not fair. I need to see the same uproar for that dude taking his
For body rolling with your shirt off at the
Yes.
Super Bowl, man. What
Absolutely.
you doing? Kids watching.
I'm saying. Lefty.
SpongeBob commenting and having the SpongeBob part during the game. How you go from SpongeBob to body rolling by halftime?
It's unfair. I'm saying. But the ladies, they're not gonna complain about that.
Oh no.
No,
Oh no. They told you it was the Usher Bowl, not the Super Bowl.
absolutely. Yeah, remember that Martin Lawrence? Water just glistening all over his bar. Hey, when he walked off from that and her walked up and did her little solo,
Oh yeah.
he changed clothes. I don't know where they had his clothes at.
That's what I'm saying. How did he change all them costumes? How do you get the roller skates on? You know, roller skates is 5 minutes easy. You got to do it because you got to lace them up.
Right.
Man, he popped them things on, got the slide, and man, them things had to be. How did you get them tight? And you had a whole shoulder pad, chest thing on, like the blue. I'm like, oh, how did you get into that?
Man.
Man is right.
So RJ Oben, defensive end transfer from Duke. He met with the media left. Had some pretty interesting things to say. First of all, why Notre Dame, RJ?
I think Coach Wash, just established a great plan for me to come in and, he showed me some tape and showed me things I could work on, and there's a plan that he had within his defense, and I think it was a great defensive fit for me. Obviously, culturally, Duke and Notre Dame have kind of similarities, being, great size, academic and athletically, and just having those resources. And I think Notre Dame has, unmatched exposure. Just unmatched resource in terms of on the field and off the field. Being able to get a graduate degree, hopefully while I'm here, would be something that I'd love to take advantage of. And obviously, coming here to win a national championship as well. I talked to Coach Freeman, and I'm really excited about this team, so can't wait.
First of all, young man, if you get an undergrad from Duke and a grad from Notre Dame,
you beat the game.
Yes,
you
sir.
Beat the game.
Yes, sir.
It's like, come on, bro. Undergrad Duke, grad Notre Dame, you got it. The only thing I like him a lot. He gave us the recruiting points that was probably told to him before he got there. He was going down the list. You can kind of, after a while, you kind of know, okay, they hit him with the resources. They hit him with the good for life. They hit him with the, and we, which is great. The only thing I'm saying is you talked about the national championship last.
And Duke is not equal to Notre Dame athletically. I don't know what you're talking about there.
Now, I don't know what you talking
unless
about.
You're talking about the basketball side. Now, maybe you're talking about the basketball side, my dude. But,
he definitely played it way too close together. No, you definitely taking a step up. This ain't like you just transferred horizontally.
Right.
No.
Like it's a lateral move. No, sir. No, sir.
So I don't like how plainly you talked about it, but it's cool because I do think that I like what you made of. I know you're going to be productive. You talk about fit. That means that they cutting you loose, letting you do your thing. Okay. Now just give me some sacks. You're the reason why we can't say sacks don't matter now. That's his expectation. That's what we signed him for. Getting rid of the stereotype of sacks don't matter. Because sacks mattered a lot. Like Chris Jones yesterday, like how they was, sacks mattered a lot.
Pressures mattered a lot too, though.
Oh, absolutely.
I will say that.
Now,
but you're right, man.
I like that he's very understanding of where he is, even though he may not know the difference yet. He'll see it, first couple weeks of the season, he gonna be like, okay, this isn't Duke. It's not a lateral move. but the fact that I think he can come in and be productive right now helps, not only somebody that is coming into a defense that's already put together. That's why he said it's a great fit, because he can go plug and play. He's like, man, I've seen the defense. The defense already set. Everybody kind of got they workings within the system. You're just placing me in there and saying, go get sacks. That's a great spot to be in. So.
Lucky Lefty podcast, RJ Oben also talked about Bryce Young, the youngsters. But he also talked about, just being here.
RJ, I believe Joe Walt said you were the best DN that he went against last year. I guess what areas of your game can you kind of develop on that performance from last year?
I think definitely working on, obviously, pass rush is something that I've been trying to hone in on since I've gotten to college. Obviously, makes the money, but I think just working on being a more versatile rusher, working on different moves, not to be, predictable. So all I'm endeavoring really knows, what you got coming, but I think just being a more dominant and physical player in the run game as well, being able to reestablish the line of scrimmage and, being a threat on all sides and all downs. So I think that's something I'm trying to work on.
All right. Okay. Seems like he wants to work both sides of the line, rush from both places.
I'm telling you, you can only do that when the defense is set. Al
Mm.
Golden's like, look, this is what we do. I got years of tape on this. Guys understand the system. So now with you coming in, come from the left, come from the right, move you around because we got to get sacks somehow. Yeah, we can develop blitzes and pressures, but just from a straight rush, if we become dominant this year in a 4-man rush situation, that's 3 playoff games won right there. Because every team that had a dominant defense, that front four was all you really needed. And then everybody else played backhand help. And then that's where you get the unstoppable defense from. But we haven't been good on a 4-man rush or a 3-man rush in a long time. In a long time. That's why we started doing all the blitzing and stuff. So if we can get him, Patello to turn up a little bit more, those guys, somebody make something shake in that middle, in the interior, and we can get 4 to 5 guys on the rush consistently, causing havoc. Now we ain't been known for that.
That's, you know what, Left? You open it. You trying to throw me a ooh. You trying to throw me a ooh. You trying to throw me a ooh. Let me. I don't know if I have the vert. I don't know if I have the vert at this point to put it down, but I'm gonna try. Because you just open the door. Basically, what you're saying is we are very much like Kansas City. We have the best defensive backfield possibly in the nation.
Yeah, you can get
Lockdown, which allows us to blitz, but we don't have that Chris Jones.
Oh yeah, no, you don't got that.
That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
You need that Chris Jones type
because
the Chris Jones line type to take it to the next level.
Because that eliminates these running backs having 100 yards that we ain't like these backup running backs because those guys shut that stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
You may get 60 because he's in the backfield all the time. That's where you lower your average when you get a monster in that interior D line. We just have had so many different additives to help, the Kirk Heinz and the guys in the middle, the Riley Mills and stuff. Yeah, because I promise you, Al Golden, if he had a monster of the midway in that interior, a 330 sucker that's just moving stuff around, he wouldn't need the blitz. The defense would just look different. Double safety blitz versus Ohio State wouldn't have happened if we had somebody in that middle of the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And that D-line giving CJ all he can handle.
On 4th and 19.
You're not bringing safeties. If you got a Chris Jones, double safeties, which is, I will never forget that because I just think that's a funny moment. And what we thought about the defense then and compared to now.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah.
Chris Jones is a one-of-one player. It's not like there's a bunch of Chris Jones out there. But the size and the impact, there's enough college football guys, we can get one of those. Silviano, how you say it?
Sevillano Jr., yeah.
Sevillano is just young. So, I mean, if this is year 3 Sevillano, okay. I like how you're talking. Go out there and cause havoc. So,
man, that definitely would make the difference in both sides, right? Run game and passing game, with the passing game already being elite. That's something Spags can do everything. Dude, I just want to, the 2 youngest Super Bowl winning defenses in the history of the NFL, bro. The 2 youngest. And he says, dude, their level of intellect is crazy. That's why we can do all of the different blitzes. That's why he said the level of intellect on the back end with the young players is so great. He doesn't worry about. He can come up with a blitz at the right time. It's like every 3rd down, Spags is going to blitz. You just don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, and he might bring 4 and be overloaded or something.
Bro, he brought 3. He faked the blitz, only brought 3, and had double spies on Brock Purdy. Double spies on Brock Purdy. And they tried to leak McCaffrey on the play, and the linebacker knew to take him because it was an automatic.
Because we're spying the back.
And it's absolutely. And it was just like,
that's Drew Tranquil. Shout out Drew Tranquil, man, getting the Super Bowl ring, by the way, because he's the quarterback of all that. And it's crazy because I'm like, Drew's making an impact like he a top linebacker. And he's having the career I thought Jalen Smith was gonna have.
He changed his life leaving the Chargers. I can tell you that.
Change his life. Oh man, like shout out to Drew, man. I'm real happy for the brother. You know, you talk about importance to the team. I think he's top 10 when it comes to that. Easily. He's a top 10 player on the Chiefs in terms of importance to win a game. Because
especially with the injuries to Willie Gay this year.
Spag relies on him very heavily. Like from a communication standpoint, and like, so yeah, Drew Tranquil's he earned his championship this year.
Man, you say that again. Lucky Lefty podcast. RJ Oben. Yo, he talked about why. He talked about what he expects to do and the love he got from Joe Alt. But then he talked about what it's going to be like going up against what should be a pretty good, young, but still yet good offensive line.
It's amazing, and even to be here now to go against that every day in practice is going to make me even to take me to even more new heights. I think just some games you got to bucket your trench top a little tighter for, and watch a little more film for. And I think that's kind of the effect that Notre Dame has, not even just the O-line, but just the team in general. Every time you play them, and I think to be on the other side of that and to know that every team I'm playing is going to come with that juice and come with the best they have, and I think I'm excited for that and can't wait for the opportunity.
So he's saying they're going to make me better, like they made Javonte Jean-Baptiste better.
Essentially, because it sounded like he wasn't getting that same challenge at Duke. It sounded like
no, he said it was the same athletically. That's what he said.
Oh, yeah, right. Then he's like, but I came to Notre Dame and realized I got to watch a little more. Yeah.
He probably was talking about Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And the athletes that play in that stadium.
Because there's no way he's comparing the football programs. He's talking about, yeah, I mean, we're athletically it's kind of the same, but then you're like, I had to start doing stuff that I didn't usually do, and this is my 5th year in college football.
Right.
This is my 5th year, and at Notre Dame, people gonna be juiced up. Yeah, you should have been studying film like this the whole time, But that's where Notre Dame makes players better consistently. Is that we're giving you habits you didn't even know you needed. You didn't even know you needed more film. And you 5 years in thinking, I'm about to go to the league. Everything changes. To be able to know, you haven't experienced it yet, but literally playing people at their best. Look at the Louisville game. Louisville ain't played that great after that game.
No.
Seriously.
No.
So the team that you saw against us was not the team you saw against Florida State. And they mustered all of that. Remember, they had the most people ever at a Louisville game. Ever. It was so bad. It was like the ones where they shut down the town and before sundown and everybody in the city go to the game. That's what that's like. That's what's getting somebody's best like.
Yeah.
And that's Louisville. Now you times that by 9 other teams. Now you understand where you at, and you can be like, oh, this isn't the Duke basketball program like I was trying to make the comparison of. Because it definitely ain't football. Hell,
ain't football.
He can even speak to how he was juiced up playing Notre Dame last year thinking they was going to win. And how he strapped it up a little tighter. Now it's going to stay tight because you're on the other side.
Man, look.
And we broke the record at Duke too, by the way.
Yeah. He was asked about his quarterback at Duke that is now his quarterback at Notre Dame. Left. This is what RJ had to say about Riley Leonard.
One thing Notre Dame might not know about Riley Leonard is how spiritual he is. How religious, how much of a man of God he is. The conversations I've had with him, guys on the team when I was at Duke about Jesus and following the Lord, I think have been amazing. And, when you have a guy who's just led by God and led through faith at the head of your team and the culture galvanizes around, I think it's takes the team to enormous level. So I'm excited for that.
I know that's not what you want to hear, Left. I know that's not what you want to hear. I already do. When I said, when I play this, Left is immediately going to put his head down. I know, Left. You want to hear some other things about playmaking, running ability, passing ability.
I just thought this was a football press conference, not a breakdown of his character. Like, what are we talking about?
You know what? Can I point this out? Because as a man, look, as a man of faith, a man of God,
We love it. Yeah, nobody.
I look. The one thing that frustrated me all week about the coverage of Brock Purdy is that, dude, he's a football player, man. He's a really good
Yeah.
football player. Like, why does every story have to be about his faith, man? It's like, yo, wait a minute, because you focused all week on Patrick Mahomes and his ability to play, and every story about Brock Purdy was focused on his faith and not as much his play. And then the first thing Patrick Mahomes says in the camera and on the microphone post game is, man, I got to give thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost like when you see parents from the other side in the stands praying, and then parents on the other side, like, dude,
For the same thing. Praying for the same thing.
yeah, it's like,
So God gotta answer somebody. Jesus.
and no, it actually comes down to who's better on the field at that day. Like prayer, I love prayer. Prayer matters. Man, definitely pray that everybody goes home healthy. That should
Yeah,
be the prayer from
that's
both
what you
sides.
pray for. That's what you pray for.
That should be the prayer from
Winning
both
and
sides.
stuff, that's gotta be done.
Yeah.
Like faith without works. How about that? Faith without works means nothing. So yeah, faith is good, Riley.
Pat Mahomes Senior prayers were stronger than Brock Purdy's prayers yesterday.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
what I
what it
don't.
is?
That's what I don't. Exactly right. That's why I don't like that whole.
I just don't. I don't like that because I think he deserves better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not to say that he isn't a man of God and that shouldn't be highlighted in some way, but it was just oversaturation with it. It's like, man, let this man, give him the credit for who he is and what has gotten him here to this moment, which is his play on the field. I'm sure who he is has helped him and aided and assisted him. And RJ Oben is saying that, like, this is what's going to aid and assist him in leading this team and galvanizing the group. You know what else galvanizes the group? That big throw on third and fourth down. That
because that's all I'm saying is that he's not new to Riley.
Mm-hmm.
So when they ask you to give info about a quarterback that you've been with in practice,
Mm-hmm.
you've seen him every day in the hallways, you've seen him in games, you've seen him good, you've seen him bad, and you talk nothing about that, that don't sound good for Riley. That's like the Tyler Buckner thing. Man, yeah, the receiver at the podium, man, he can run his ass off. What? Your receiver complimenting your running skills? So yeah, you're right, Sean. There's nothing wrong with Riley being a man of God. You know what's crazy? I'm pretty sure most of the guys on the team are men of God.
Yeah, I would. That's one of the reasons that attracts young men to Notre Dame is the culture of faith.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm pretty sure they probably got a lot of strong faith on campus at Notre Dame, with or without Riley. So I don't know if that's a fact that maybe I'm not more impressed by, only because it's like, dude, you came to a Jesus focused place. We have touchdown Jesus on our building. So when it comes to Jesus, we all on the same page about Jesus. But when they ask a football question, you're not helping.
And then the question was, what do Notre Dame fans, what is it that they don't know? Dude, everybody knew about this man's faith when he was at Duke. Once again, it's like, dude, when you get players and it's oversat, it's like, dude, look, and Patrick Mahomes, they never talk about it. But the first thing
never
he
talk
said
about eight dudes when it comes to faith. I never heard them talk about Michael Jordan's faith when they just talk about describing Michael Jordan.
Kurt Warner was another one of those dudes. He wasn't a dude like Pat and Tom, but he was another one that won a Super Bowl that.
And well, his story makes a little more sense because he was bagging groceries. Or that whole thing. So it takes a lot of faith to bag groceries to get the Super Bowl.
Maybe that's why they did it, because he was the last pick of the draft, and they felt like that was the angle. But it's like he's better than that. Like he's proven that dude.
He's a top 10 guy. Shit, in the league for quarterback play, he's a top 10 guy. Like
yeah. So Chris O'Leary going to join Jim Harbaugh in the NFL on his coaching staff as a safeties coach, leaving Notre Dame. Notre Dame tried to keep him. Notre Dame made offers. and he decided I just want to go to the NFL. It is a trend now with these coaches leaving college football when most coaches love coaching in college because of the time that's expected and needed to be an NFL coach. Is this a trend because of the NIL landscape, or do you? And just to say, Mike Mickens more than likely is going to end up doing both safety and cornerback as far as coaching. And then Max Bullock. You're stupid. You're stupid. You're stupid. I'm not touching that.
Every time we talk about safeties, I was like, yeah, Mike Mickens on the job, but it wasn't even him coaching the safeties.
Max Bullock is going to be elevated to linebacker coach, and he's been doing a fantastic job.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to our previous coach, man. I was giving all Xavier Watts credit to Coach Mickens.
But no, just talk about that, and then we can get out of here. Just the trend of college coaches going to the NFL, leaving head coaching jobs. Chip Kelly left a head coaching job at UCLA to be an assistant at Ohio State.
Yeah, I think that the stress level and guys wanting to hold on to jobs longer, they're like, man, this is a volatile spot, Boston College head coach.
Mm-hmm.
The likelihood of not being good the next year is high, regardless of transfer portal. So that shortens the time of me being here on this contract. Let me get somewhere where I can relax a little bit and just coach football.
Man.
Now, I do think that certain teams that are winning a lot, like an Alabama program with Nick Saban, I think Nick Saban had a lot more time on his hands than the standard. I mean, he recruited Tommy and wasn't even at the school. He was at his lake house with his feet up. You know what I'm saying? Hell, Brian Kelly got comfortable and stopped recruiting 5 years in. You know, so I think for coaches that aren't winning, if you in a rebuild program, you might as well just tell your wife, I'll see you after the season. Because it's too hard, because it's so many different things and so many different people and so many different recruiting type of situations you have to deal with on an individual level. It's all individualized.
Yeah.
So if a coach isn't about the grind where you enjoy the whole process of trying to make a team better from the rooter to the tutor, because that's what you got to do now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have facilities. You got to have the newest hot tub, cold tub. You gotta sit all the way in some small city that you ain't never been before, that you had to take horse carriage to sit down and eat some oxtails with a D lineman that, you know what I'm saying? So the Marcus Freeman's built for it, one, because he's young. That's why he got to get it now before he gets into that Coach Kelly age where he like, look, that's a lot, man. We can't sum this up. we can't just take the guys that want to come. Because I can understand you can only be so like this for so long. He can only be so Will Smith-ish for so long before he starts smacking it.
Yeah.
He's the Fresh Prince now because he's fresh. But he's going to start smacking some fools later. I'm telling you, it's
Lefty podcast. Yo, we're going to do a short version. I am putting on the petty train Usher. Hey, man, I don't know how Swiss Beats looked at it, but you couldn't hug my woman like that on stage. That's just me. You couldn't do that.
Do you get on the internet if you Swiss Beats and talk that stuff?
No. Swiss is.
Oh, he did. They said so he did get on the internet.
Swiss, the way he actually responded was the way he should have responded.
Okay, it was good.
I'm not talking about the way I would respond. I'm talking about the way I would feel.
Oh yeah. Oh, hurt. National television, hurt.
That's what he would do to you.
Because I'm looking at because I know he got the script. He like, man, where is that in the script? I must have overlooked that shit. I must have. Like, wait a minute, you just adding stuff in? When this get added in?
Yo, I gotta go. Let me finish this. Pat Mahomes and that look you gave Fred Warner at the overtime flip. You are pretty much let him know, like you do know, you done messed up, right?
You know you done messed up. I bought a house before the season started, right outside the state. I walked to the game, man.
Kanye, just drop the album. All this dropping it for an hour, pulling it back off, man. Stop doing that crazy stuff, man. And then last but not least, the 49ers for being sore losers. Actually retweeting and responding to NFL players talking about I knew the Chiefs are gonna win. And you like Sauce Gardner was like, I told y'all the Chiefs are gonna pull it out. And then the DBs from the 49ers talking about, man, y'all trash. Y'all don't even make it.
What? What to be a high school?
Exactly.
That's funny as hell.
Man, have a great day, man. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Lucky Lefty, man. Spin it different.